We have to stop letting the cookie out of the cookie jar. Okay, ladies, come on, we can do better. We have self-control, right? I believe that we should hold back on letting the cookies out of the cookie jar. When men see us, they first and foremost think, this woman is gorgeous, this woman is beautiful. I would love to be able to experience what it is to be with this woman. And what that might look like is tasting the sweetness of your lips, coming close enough to you to smell your fragrance, feeling the softness of your skin, hearing the inflections and the tone of your voice, your feminine voice, and also entering heaven, aka the cookie jar. Now, this is something that men want to do naturally, immediately when they meet you. That's their first sense. You have the devil, and then you have the king. I feel like there's two faces to anyone, but we're talking about men. There's the devil, and there's the king. And I feel a lot of the times, the devil, if not 100%, shows himself first. He's always there. Now, knowing this, pretend we're playing a game of chess. Not Connect 4, not checkers, chess. Because this is what most men are playing with you, ladies. They are playing a game of chess. As much as you want to believe that somebody should just come to you direct and you don't gotta play games, you have to at least be able to be aware of the games that are being played so you don't fall into the trap. So you need to be able to defend yourself against the opposition, right? He is going to woo you. He may love bomb you. He may try to find out just enough about you in order to represent himself as the type of guy that you could start fantasizing about, that you might want to see as your husband or somebody for your future. I believe that if there's an action, there should be a verbal profession as well. So if both are not there, to me, it's not valid. Okay? So a guy can come to you and he's acting as if he really wants to be there for you. He's the one. He appreciates you. He values you. He might even love you. He hasn't said it. He hasn't professed it in front of his family, friends. He's not doing the things that we would want a man to do. That's a game. And when we're not aware that this person could potentially be playing that game because their actions are showing something different than what they're saying, or they're not professing the same energy as what they are showing, and vice versa. I'm hoping this makes sense. Please leave me a like, comment below if this is making sense so far. Okay, so we're playing chess here. We're playing chess, all right? We're on the chessboard. We're the queen, they're the king. We're on the chessboard. Okay? Okay. You, after your second, third, fourth, some of these men are very good. They have many women in rotation. They can wait for it. And you fall and you give him the cookies in your cookie jar. And because he might still be a gentleman, because let me tell you, gentlemen out here, these players there are high quality F-boys out here, and these guys are more so like mentors. And when they leave you, or if they ever leave you, you still get something out of the arrangement, the relationship, the interactions, right? So it's easier for them to get through life without having a bad name because they uplift the women that they play or dance with in this game of chess. And then there's lower level. F-boys that just come in swift under the radar, get into the cookie jar, and then they leave you and leave a lot of trauma and damage behind. So that is a good point as well. I'm trying to stay focused here. That is a good point as well. Don't give the cookie out of the cookie jar unless it's with somebody who is deserving, who has shown and proved that they're going to be here for the long run. It is meaningful and there is love involved most of all. When you fall for these games, because they are playing games, when you fall for these games, all it does is leave you with more trauma at the end of the day. Yeah, he may have had a few nights of passion. He may have wined and dined you for several months, and then you're left alone wondering, what did you do? Why doesn't he like you? Why is he now talking to somebody else and is now married or giving her the world? Because you couldn't play the game of life, which is a big chessboard game. And once again, for those out there, the one in the back who says, I don't want to play games. All right, you don't have to play games, but you have to be aware of it. And you have to be aware of how you are going to present yourself, conduct yourself, and deflect against the games and get around it in a very feminine way. So I would like to dive into that further here on my channel as well, how to passively play this chess game with men. Now, I'm not a married woman, so I'm not on here talking about marriages, but I do believe people in all relationships, whether they be single, whether they're dating, whether they're in a talking phase, whether they're exclusive and with somebody engaged or married, can get little gems from the things that I say. But I'm not a marriage coach, I'm not a divorce coach. I am currently single. So I'm talking about the dating game from a woman of high value who is on her journey continuously in uplifting and learning and being more high value. And part of that in this game of life is being able to walk with the big boys, so to speak, being able to preserve yourself, preserve your cookies, preserve your worth, while not biting too many hands that feed you, if that makes sense, and I hope it does to some of you. Now, any woman who is mature, and I'm going to say women over 30, because most of the time women over 30 have had experiences, maybe been divorced, maybe had a child, and has probably definitely been played several times by now, right? So having that maturity, you can't be out here doing the same thing over and over and over and over. I understand we have needs also as women, but our organs, the way how God made us, everybody has their purpose here, but us as women, we're just a little bit more special. And you have to know this, right? In the way you think, the way you feel, the way how your body can bring life into this world, it just needs to be guarded. Your kingdom, your cookie jar, your mind, your soul, your love, it just needs to be preserved just that bit more than a man who is out here for power, for control, to dominate, to conquer, right? That is what the man is out here doing. And he's going to try to do that to you. Now, you're the queen, okay? The queen sits on her throne. The queen does have a say in what the king does, even though the king does have the final decision. He does not dominate her. He does not conquer her, okay? So when you're out here having one night stands or just not being cognizant of the fact that a man is playing with your most vulnerable points, which is your love, he's conquering you. He is winning the game that he is playing that you don't want to be a part of. Wake up, ladies. Have some self-control. If you need to buy yourself a toy, don't tell anybody. You don't have to tell anybody. take care of yourself. And even if it's not a toy, go and take a nice hot bubble bath. Go and get a nice massage. I'm telling you, massages can be equivalently as satisfying as having a human-to-human experience with somebody. Me, I feel like as a high-value woman, you should only engage yourself in meaningful, intentful, purposeful engagements, whether it be people that you decide to keep in your life, whether it be sexually, anything. Here in 2022, I just know if love is not involved, I want no parts of it. No parts. No parts. If your intentions are not pure and if love is not involved, I don't want any part of it. You're not going to be able to lay me down until you show me you deserve it, right? Like I said, there's the devil face and then there's the king face. Which one is he showing you? Now, every man has this. A good man, scoundrel of a man, person, period, has these two faces, right? More than likely, not because he's a terrible person, but he's gonna come to you kind of like a predator, and he's gonna look at you and you're like a prey to him, and the devil face is gonna show, right? You need to be able to see the devil in his eyes, in his actions, how he moves. You need to understand the presence of this devil being there and what this devil wants. And 9 times out of 10, this devil wants your body. And if you're a woman of stature, maybe they want status from you. They want clout. They want money from you, right? That's the devil, right? The king wants your heart, wants to get to know you better, wants to take care of you, wants to love you, wants to be that person that you come to when in need, and vice versa, wants to provide support, wants to be a team, wants to be a unit, wants you to be their queen, right? And treats you as such. Be cognizant. I'm going to make another video about how to play the game with the devil, and I'm also going to mention that you just may not be that woman that's going to be able to get him in that space. And don't beat yourself for not being able to be that woman to get him in that space. Just leave him alone. You know, if he happens to be one of these high quality F-boys who may be able to mentor you, and to be honest, that's what I think quite a few of some of these online podcasts, male podcasts are. They're not high quality men, they're not high value men, they're high quality F-boys that come out here and mentor you to try and give you the game, so to speak. You just have to be able to read between the lines and take what you take from them and add it to your repertoire of your battle weapons, right? Like your shield, to shield yourself from being conquered, being dominated, and being checkmate on the chessboard. So if you, at this point in time in your life, feel like you do not have the wherewithal to be able to get what you need from a man and show your value to a man in order for him to show up in that way, I would be scared. I would not go out there and date and rub shoulders with monsters and wolves because they're out there. And it's even scarier to know that the husband that could be so amazing, you know, that you see your friend has, your mom has, or whatever, once upon a time, that man was also a devil, a wolf, a predator. So they all have it in them. It's just them who are going to be able to one day turn around and be like, I'm done. I'm tired. I want my wife. I want my family. I want to relax. And as much as people want to say, or some men want to believe that, oh, I'm probably not going to settle down until I find that one. When I find that one, I'll change my ways. No, it's only the man that can do that. Ladies, you cannot change a man. No matter how good you are, you cannot yourself change a man. A man has to do it for himself, okay? When he's ready, regardless of whether he was inspired by one particular woman or several particular women, or, you know, he hit a plateau or just hit rock bottom in his life and he's decided to make changes. It's him. And something that I think is very important for me to mention is that I feel like a lot of us women, it's not that we're naive, it's not that we're doormats. I think we think so highly of ourselves, so it's a little bit of ego, so we need to check that as well. I'm even guilty of that. Your ego gets in the way, and you've been doing your learning, you've been growing, you've been exercising, you've been taking care of your mental health, you've been dealing with your career, you've been doing your skincare, you've been meditating, you've been doing yoga, you're well traveled, right? You are a wine connoisseur, whatever it is. You have been feeding yourself and living your life to the best of your abilities, living your best life, and you believe that you are the best woman that you can be. You are at your best. So automatically, and rightfully so, you believe that any man should be lucky to be with you, and they should. But what we need to understand is that not everybody is gonna see you for the greatness that you are. And sometimes even when a person does see you for the greatness that you are, they may not care enough to want to feed it or invest in it or keep it, right? And I'm saying our ego gets in the way because it's almost like we go into this place in our mind where we're like, there's no way that this guy can't want us. Does he not see me? Does he not? And then it's like you start putting action. And this is a chasing. This is chasing. This is masculine energy now. Now you want to do something, and you're pretty much trying to prove that you're good enough for this person to treat you better. You're good enough for this person to want to commit to you. You need to just do nothing but be yourself. And that is the best way, I'll just put it out there, for you to see what a guy wants. Have you ever read The Art of Seduction? Or have you ever read Why Men Love Bitches? Read up about being a dumb fox, right? You can be the most intelligent, educated woman, intuitive woman in the world, but the best way for you to figure out what a man wants, what somebody wants, is to play the dumb fox. Don't do anything. Don't really expect too much. Don't show your hand too quickly. Don't let them know that you're aware of the game that I want you guys to start being aware of, even if you're not going to play it. And sit back and see what the man does for you. That is the quickest way for you to eliminate if a man actually is into you or deserves to have the cookies in your cookie jar. What does he do? How does he show up for you? What are his actions? What does he say to you? What is he professing to you, his friends and his family? What is he saying? What is he doing? What are the actions that are being placed? Is there an action or none? Is he breadcrumbing you? Right? If he doesn't call you for several weeks, don't call him. Let your ego tap in that way, to the point where it's like you don't have to take action to be like, hey, I'm a great person, let me show him. You just gotta leave. Your ego should snap in and be like, okay, this guy hasn't called me for 3 weeks. I guess he's not interested. he doesn't want all of this. Somebody else does. Let me continue talking to this other person. Let me continue dating this other person. Let me continue just going to my pottery classes. Let me continue traveling. Let me continue going to Pilates. Let me continue teaching myself different recipes and baking and doing things for me. Let me continue exfoliating my skin. Okay? That's what you should be doing. Let men be, let them do what they do, because that's what a man does. A man does whatever he wants to do, and you should want a man that does whatever he wants to do, because guess what? When the man wants you, he comes for you, and then you understand and you feel what it's like to have a king who is pursuing a queen with consistency. And as he continues doing and growing and thriving, eventually when it gets to the point where you are without a shadow of a doubt aware and know that there is love involved and this means something and it's leading towards something, right? Then, if you're not religious, you can let the cookie out of the cookie jar. Or you can continue with the courtship and the growing and the building and then get married and then consummate, right? It's up to you. I'm not a judgmental person. You can wait for marriage, or you can wait for the love and the actual commitment that's supposed to be there in order for this person to be deserving to have you. Stop letting the cookie out of the cookie jar. Do things for yourself that help you feel satisfied in your life, that help boost your status as a high value woman. The more men you sleep with, it's kind of like a Carfax, right? Men will be able to look back at that and say, oh, these are questionable people that this person slept with. And then it's kind of like a representation of you, who you've dated, who you've slept with, who you're talking to, etc. Start branding yourself better as a high value woman. Be very picky with the people that you decide to keep in your life, to be seen out in public with, that you sleep with, that you get into serious relationships with, because later on, if and when somebody were to vet you and see the type of individuals you talk to, it paints a clear picture of who you are. Now, you can't control other people, and yes, you may have had a past of talking to questionable persons, but I do believe that a past can be deleted. Only in one fashion, in one way though, that it has to be far in your past. And there has to be a defining point where you have started to rebrand and you are starting to move and do things differently moving forward, right? So I would say 3, 4, how many years, a decade in the past, that was the past. If you consistently move in a certain way that brands yourself and represents yourself as a high value woman, and you keep learning the game, you keep dodging the game, you understand how not to get taken advantage of or used by men in this game of life, your value increases and increases, right? And I would also like to say, when a man who's ready to settle down meets a woman, I think he'll still test you, because he still has that within him. He still knows how to get what he wants from a woman, whether it's the long game he's playing or he realizes he can just move really quickly and you're easy, so to speak. So this guy of high value may still test you, may still play little games with you, and if you are seasoned enough, educated enough, knowledgeable enough to see him, to see the devil he's trying to sick on you, and you just bring the angel out and deflect or shield, this gives you queen points. I'm gonna call them queen points, okay? Every time you deflect a devil, like you use your angel, goddess, knowledge and you block the devil and you shield the devil, you get queen points. So this high value man will be like, wow, okay, I may have met my match. I think I want to be with this one. And like I said, once you've done your vetting process, once you've got to a point where the person actually really cares about you and love is in the picture, then feel free to give up the cookie. But I think at this point in time, ladies, we need to stop letting the cookie out of the cookie jar. Period. And I wish all women all around the world would band together and stop letting the cookie out of the cookie jar, and we would be able to see how much power we actually do hold in that little itty bitty jar. Okay? Because people would straighten up, sit up straight, and act right. And the people I'm talking about are men, right? Take your time. Don't do it. Wait until marriage or wait until love is in effect. Love only. Stop giving the cookie from the cookie jar. Alright? You are worth way more. And you should probably read The Art of Seduction so you can learn other ways that you can use your feminine wiles, your femininity to attract and keep and playfully banter with a man to keep him interested. You don't have to resort to opening your legs and giving the cookie from the cookie jar in order for a man to want to stick around. And if that's where you're at in life, where you feel like you have to do that in order to keep him around, then you probably shouldn't be dating at all, and you should be getting maybe like some dating coaching or speaking to a therapist, or really just being a little bit more introspective and doing some work. Because no judgment, but I'm just going to give some harsh truths. That's not self-love. That's not self-love, right? What has this person even done for you? I have a video here talking about a love list, writing down a list so you can be intentful and purposeful in dating and you know what you want in a partner. It's not exhaustive. There's some that you could take out, maybe some that you can put in as you go, as you're learning, as you're experimenting, as you're dating people. But I also think that there should maybe be a list for who deserves to be in the cookie jar. I really think that there should be a list, right? If you wouldn't marry a certain person and you don't want to be in a relationship with a certain person, somebody who has not even shown you anything about themselves, which is of substance, can still lay with you just because you're falling for your flesh and you just want to be satisfied, like sexually. I don't think that's a high value woman thought process or mindset, and that needs to be looked into. And you should write a list of who deserves to enter into your queendom as a high value woman. And I think you would be shocked that maybe a lot of the people that you have allowed to lay with you don't even measure up. So let's be more meaningful, more intentful, more purposeful, and more goddess-like, godlike when it comes to the cookies that are in our cookie jar. Okay? Leave the cookies in the cookie jar. Learn how to play this game of chess with men because they're playing it with you. And we will talk about that further in another video. I am going to write some talking points about that because it's time to play chess, right? It's time to be able to move through the board with grace and femininity and not get checkmated. You should be doing the checkmate, and that's one of these. Alright, so you guys have a lovely day. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe. Please comment below if you agree with what I said. And just say, hey Marie, how are you doing if you've got to this point in the video. Alright, have yourself a lovely day. I am going to go and grab myself some Starbucks because that's part of my self-love and I love it, and no one's gonna take it away from me.